Pay attention to this. You can read any of the books, see every video, and 1,000 times talk to yourself. That people should trust and respect you. However, if you don't understand this one item, the authority and impact you aim for will never be close enough to reach. I'm not here today to give you ideas. The key is here with me. Something you've never been told. Prior to Carl Jung discovered a truth, one that will always variate the way in which you demand respect and improve your vision, Jung quoted. It's not you who does love, it is a part of you. Likewise, the same holds true for respect. It's not something that you chase or expect. You are what you become if this is what you're watching. It's due to something within you, is already aware of more. This is more than just learning to confidence project or delineating restrictions. It all comes down to transforming the core of who you are. It has to do with embodying a presence unshakable that gets respect effortlessly and naturally. Aurelius Marcus, the great emperor of Stoic. When he wrote, he understood this well. A man's closeness to a calm mind, he is closer to strength. There is no true power in noise, domination, or aggression. It may be found in self-mastery, your ideas, your energy, and reactions. Moreover, when you do that, an amazing event happens. People no longer doubt your power, since they are able to sense it prior to you. Even talking after this video ends, you'll know precisely ways to improve that kind of silence directing power. Will explain the changes in mindset and doable actions that allow you to handle life with the silent certainty of a person who is not in need to explain themselves, but the thing is here. Avoid skipping anything in this video. Considering that each piece fits as a puzzle together, you could lose the key if you miss one. The change is unlocked by it. What you're searching for. Moreover, if you're happy, our activities here in the Stoic Journal, a single easy free favor I'll ask you. Click the subscribe button now, a small action that has a big effect, and it assists us in continuing exchanging timeless advice that has the possible to change lives. Let's do it now, and explain the reality that's going to change everything for you. You are aware of what is interesting. The most of us use a massive amount of our lives going for respect and other people's validation. Our boss is what we want to thank us for our work, for our friends to value us and family to view our giveaways. But the irony is here frequently. Do we pause? First, we must actually respect, self-remember the last time you ignored your own needs, or let your standards go only to maintain the happiness of others. It happens constantly, correct? However, every time we do that, we tell ourselves in quiet and the world that our needs aren't that important. The Stoics had a strong perspective on this. The origin of true respect is within. Aurelius Marcus wrote famously, "I'm constantly amazed. Everybody loves themselves, a bigger number than others, but are more worried with their views. Compared to our own, let it set in." What he is saying is that we permanently set our own value into the hands of other people, rather than honoring our own inside voice if you actually want to be respected by others. Initially, you must become someone. Whom do you really value? Your boundaries and values, your energy and your time. A realistic speak. Consequently, getting crystal is clear about what isn't in your life. Negotiable now. Take a second to consider, what do you absolutely need? No more toleration. Perhaps it's always available. Late-night email checking or agreeing to perform favors. Honestly, you don't want to do. Perhaps it's letting someone disrespecting your feelings repeatedly because you're afraid of making a big impact. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, said, "We hurt more than we think," compared to reality. Moreover, nothing could be more exact. The pain you fear most of the time. Concerning setting limits is not nearly as hard the way you imagine it to be. A practical thing is here. You may get started right away. Put 3 personal rules in writing. You are devoted to respecting starting today. Possibly it is not accepting anymore. At work, disrespectful comments. preserving your free time after 7 p.m. or create space. Daily for things that feel your needs afterward, calmly and contact with respect. Those restrictions to others. Remember that being defensive is not the point. Alternatively, aggressive. It's about quietly instead, and actually permitting others to view, if you have enough self-respect. Understanding these standards when you begin really respecting your personal limits, an amazing thing occurs. The people in your area notice the shift immediately, they sense your trust, and follow your lead. Naturally, they got more respect for you because you obviously value yourself. This internal puzzle was referred to by the Stoics. Lining up what you do with your highest principles until acceptance turns into a natural product. Thus, beginning today, permit yourself to do it to truly respect your own worth. Not only will you feel more internally stronger, however, you'll also carefully manage other people to have respect. There is no need for force. Have you ever seen it? That moment when you doubt yourself, language you use selectively becomes softer, reluctant, or very sorry. Consider it for a second. You may recover yourself using words like sorry. Could I just say something quickly? Or this may be inaccurate. However, for the moment, it feels safe. However, every time you do this, you quietly take charge of your own power. You are signing to yourself and to others. That's your voice. Not deserving enough space. The Stoics have a strong belief in the clear's power and an intended speech. Advice for Marcus Aurelius: speak clearly and plainly, considering that he understood that silent speaking. Moreover, without pointless apologies, confidence communication, respect for oneself, and an inner authority. Sense when you use clear speech and deliberately you do more than just speak words. Quiet strength is what you're asserting. Of your own skills, you're telling yourself and other people that your thoughts count. Moreover, your appearance is deserving of respect. A practical thing is here right now, you can try. The next time you have to attend a meeting, talk, or even chatting casually with friends, advantageously delay your speech, deliberately speak, pay attention to your self-expression. Moreover, take note if you often apologize or essential qualifiers, as if I were just thinking, or perhaps this isn't important. However, instead, push yourself. To explain your point of view, instantly maintaining it. Change hesitant syllables with direct and simple statements like, "This is my thought," or "I want to discuss an idea." I'm not saying that now. You should never say you're sorry, or that humility does not matter. It sure is. Teachers of Stoicism, humility as an essential value, but a big difference remains: authentic humility and a not necessarily disrespecting yourself. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus. Remember to let us know who you are first. Afterward, dress yourself properly, when you are aware of your identity and have faith in your own thoughts. You stop feeling the need on your own to dispense for displaying them. Just think about how different discussions would seem if every word came from this calm, you said self-assured setting. Imagine a meeting in the office, rather than nervously working quickly on your ideas. Alternatively, second-guessing each statement, you have a clear voice, calmly and surely. Even if you're not totally certain about the result, your team would notice right away the difference and listen up. And can you guess what? Despite their disagreements, they will value your reasonability to confidently and honestly speak. Attempt it now, deliberately. Work at it to eliminate needless apologies and the qualifiers you gave. Use clarity in place of hesitation. You will immediately notice how different people react. They will pay greater attention, more fully respect your opinions. Moreover, most crucially, you'll experience self-assurance. Improvement. Have you ever got to know anyone who appears very confident without talking at all? They enter a room and quickly get attention not through loud speech, alternatively, making jokes. However, just by their silent, composed approach, describe their secret. it frequently boils down. Introducing the silent subtle art and visual contact. I am now aware of silence. At first, it may feel awkward. Everyone has been there, filling desperately every break in conversation. Considering that quiet is uncomfortable, but the thing is here. In truth, quiet is one of the best allies you have in directing actual respect. Use a minute to consider the Stoics. They held silence in high respect, as a means of clarity and strength. Marcus Aurelius considered a lot of the power of silence, noting you are not under any pressure to form a perspective on this matter. Prior to you, you can keep quiet. What he meant that quiet allows you to think. Consider and answer thoughtfully, not at all impulsively. It is not weakness or uncertainty to stay quiet. It's a strong statement of self-control and internal power. Let's pair those silences now. Using eye contact. Have you ever seen it? The amount of authority a natural person has when do they contact eye calmly. It gives confidence, presence and sincerity across the flip side. We avoid eye contact when alternatively, keep looking away. Unconsciously, we signal uncertainty or insecurity. However, keeping steady satisfaction in eye contact, even when there is a little silence, shows a steadfast confidence. It tells the person you are speaking to, I'm completely at ease and fully present. A realistic speak. This is it. You can apply right away the next time you're speaking. Whether at work, on a date, or with friends, attempt to make a careful choice. To break for a while prior to reacting. Give yourself freedom. A place to actually consider and listen to what is said while you pause, calmly, contact your eyes. Observe how the other sharpens for personal attention. That tiny silence improves your presence, suddenly forming what you will say next. Even more powerful writing. Epictetus, once we have one mouth and two ears. In order for us to listen twice as much as we talk, he comprehended that listening and silence are intimately linked to respect upon mastering the satisfaction of silence. In fact, you're presenting strength, displaying others. You're completely safe. With your thoughts and with yourself, you don't require to continually show your value by packing the room, but let's be honest. Practicing silence. At first feeling unnatural inspirations, you have, I could yell at you to fill all, a quiet minute. But believe me when I say this, the more you practice holding that silence calmly while contacting the eye, the simpler it becomes. You will quickly learn. It's a really powerful way to improve your appearance and command respect. Naturally, without ever participating, you are aware of the sinking feeling when you consent to a thing. Honestly, you don't want to do only because you didn't wish to annoy anyone or appear selfish. Everyone has done it. Yes, I said, when we were yelling no and then immediately regretting it. Perhaps it's saying yes to more work. When you're completely overworked or accepting to another excellent social occasion because you were unable to face letting a friend down. But the catch is here. Each time you go crazy, your own limitations. You're teaching people quietly, and you that it does not matter what you limit. The Stoics were aware of that. Having clear limits is important, not just for our own health. Nevertheless, for leading actual deference from others, Seneca said, let's talk what we say and how we feel. Allow words to be in agreement with life. In easier terms, what he is telling us to respect our words and limits, after aligning them with our real values and feelings. The first time you start to respect your own limitations, something that shifts power. Natural people around you respect them as well. Let's discuss cases from the real world. I assume you're rather busy. Engaging in a crucial project and a college arrangements, you repeated talking or exhibiting their frustrations. Earlier. Possibly you have silently acknowledged these disruptions, silently becoming more angry every time. However, having a reserved approach now, you are cool but strong. Use words to set your boundary. Hey, I know you have to talk. However, I must to remain directed on this. At this moment, are we able to contact later? Observe that you're not upset or defensive, you are direct and firm. This means you should respect yourself and assists the other people. I also respect you. A realistic speak. This is what you can do now. Identify a minimum of one case. Where do you consistently have boundaries, get crossed or pushed? It may be at work. With friends or at home after you have defined it, clearly describe what you mean to yourself, what needs to be the boundary. For example, if you have important nights for your family or individual time, clarify it directly. First to yourself, then to others. Emails relating to work or phone after a specific time, not going to respond until the next day. Do not forget shutting people out is not the goal here. It's about having clear conversation. What you are comfortable with, Aurelius Marcus. A very nice summary of it: do not do it if it is not right. Don't say anything that isn't true. Boundaries. Help align your actions amid your individual values. They serve as a way of showing that you treat yourself with enough care. For your own peace's protection and priorities. Initially, this might be difficult, particularly if your WHO is in nature accommoding. You may worry about other people, will consider you to be selfish or unkind, but the surprising truth is here. Really, people value definite boundaries, considering that they show loyalty and conscience of self. They spot someone who is aware of their value. I'm not scared to hold it calm and properly, so begin now. Establish a single clear limit, easily and confidently communicate it and without guilt. You'll find that not only will you get more respect from people, however, your own self-assurance. Moreover, inner peace will soar. We learn from Stoicism when we are honest with ourselves and consistent with our principles. The clarity and respect we aim to follow. Naturally, have you ever seen it? How certain people appear to instruct deference or listening prior to even opening their mouths. It seems as though something, the way in which they enter a room or the way they contribute. While others talk quietly about that, however, powerfully, confidence communication. Moreover, this is interesting. This silent communication. The language of your body frequently speaks louder over and beyond what you may say, unaware of it, your posture and actions and how you present yourself. Broadcast messages constantly what you are worth and how you are deserving of respect. The Stoics comprehend. We hold ourselves to that. Mentally reflects how we keep our mental health stand straight, said Marcus Aurelius. Not straightened. What he intended is that how you look in real life ought to represent an inner pride and power other than tension or man-made certainty. You don't need to make it happen. Your position. The calm should be displayed easily, and you are a self-assured person within when your body is aligned using your numbers. Instinctive sense, people your strength and confidence. Let us consider to make this clearer. 2 scenarios. Imagine yourself entering a meeting. Slouching shoulders, glued eyes on the floor, nervously moving maybe or crossing everything without saying a single word. You've already told everyone in the room. You're not happy or uncertain of yourself right now. Image entering the same meeting with a comfortable back, straight shoulders open but restricted. Look up and easily contacting natural eyes. Even if you don't speak, you've immediately confidence communicated and skills. Just by the way you show yourself a realistic speak. This is it. You may get started right away. The next time you enter a space, if it's a meeting for work, a date, or simply spending time with friends, slow down and be conscious. Change your posture. Breathe deeply and calmly. Roll your shoulders back, gently. Raise your chin a little. Moreover, let your stance to be comfortable and open. It is not needed to feel stiff or anti-natural. Simply let yourself to stand, or select a good way to sit, self-assured but laid back. Another powerful Stoic idea taught by Epictetus was that we should embody our philosophy if your philosophy is that you respect yourself and deserve respect from others. The language of your body should communicate exactly that arrogance is not important. The key is to be comfortable in your own skin and believable of your worth, this silent but genuine self-confirmation. Respect is demanded by nature, and this is how beautiful it is. You don't require to change who you are radically or act like a person you're not. It all comes down to letting the impact of your physical presence, the inner strength that is already inside you. Testing today by remembering of your shape and movements. Do not cross your arms or looking within yourself. Instead, keep a relaxed body language, available and confirmed. I swear to you, you'll notice the change right away, not just in the way people react to you, but in your self-perception. Do not forget your body language. Is the ambassador silent? Of your self-confirmation. Become a pro at it, and you'll work hard. Communication, proficiency, power, and deference. You can do this without ever raising your voice. You are aware of those times. In the middle of a chat, everything has suddenly cooled down. You learn who you are, in the center of a discounter and prior to you realizing what is going on. Emotions take over. Perhaps your voice becomes louder, your words get clearer, or you feel the necessity to actively defend your position. Everyone has been there. Afterwards, you may be wondering why. Initially, it had to increase. But the interesting thing is here. Disagreements do not need to turn into disputes and disputes. You don't have to be rude. It is completely possible to address differences in perspective, calmly, graciously. Moreover, with real strength, the Stoics more than anyone, I knew this. Aurelius Marcus, often reminded of himself, the views of other people or disagreements. His inner peace did not need to be disturbed. He famously stated this does not need to be turned into a thing. You don't have to be upset about it. What he intended. Even when someone has difficulties or does not consider us, it doesn't do itself endanger our power or value for self. Your self-assurance has not lessened. Only because of another perceives it differently. How you really address disagreements, does it reflect directly of your internet power? Moreover, maturity, consider it actually. Suppose you are in a meeting at work, and someone openly challenges your idea. Your instinct might be to become defensive or easily disprove them. However, picture taking a deep breath instead. Listening calmly and really thought of their viewpoint prior to reacting. You might say something like, "That's an interesting perspective, I hadn't considered it in that way." This is why I took a different approach. Observe the power in that easy reaction. You aren't giving up your job, you're only showing them respect. And talking a clear perspective from your own and the composure. Once, Epictetus taught that it's not what you experience, but what counts is how you react to it. Applied here. Disagreements are what this means, are not bad or threatening by nature rather than their chances, possibilities to show composure, self-assurance, and thoughtful leadership. Imagine that someone is watching you. Overcome disagreement with openness and patience. They show you more respect right away. Considering that they see someone emotionally mature people and considered enough to stay under pressure composed. This is a useful advice that you can apply now. Future times, a disagreement seems to be brewing with a co-worker or alone, a companion or family partner. Select a delicate option to breathe and pause prior to responding. Remember yourself, that their opinion is not dangerous. Enhance your authority or decrease it. Pay close attention, clearly accept their point of view. Afterward, share your own peaceful and with respect. You'll notice right away how easy possible disputes diffuse into conversations that are thoughtful. Initially answering in this way may require conscious work. You may even feel open or discomfortable. In particular, if you're used to take a defensive action but do not forget, being sensitive is not a weakness. Stoicism's strength teaches that self-control and discipline in emotion are the highest strength formats while you manage disagreements with grace. A quiet power is being represented by you. That requires much more deference rather than saying louder or actively protecting whatever your position could. Consequently, try it today. Accept differences as a chance to improve calmness, self-respect, and clearance. You will not only internal strengthening, however, you'll naturally engage admiration and respect from the people in your area. You are aware of what is very surprising. The times you feel the weakest, like facing up to a mistake or sharing a fear or acting honestly when you feel uncertain, are, in fact, the times when others identify your best skill. It sounds contradictory, doesn't it? Because the majority of us consider that vulnerability as you grow up weakness of equals. We are taught to hide our problems, overcome our errors, and always display any flaws in our armor. However, the interesting fact is as follows. Vulnerability, when generated authorized, is really one of your strongest resources in terms of commanding actual deference. The Stoics comprehended honest vulnerability's strength. Aurelius Marcus, despite becoming an emperor, commonly accepted his own advances and questions. Throughout his own works, he didn't try to hide his flaws. Rather, he welcomed them as a part of humanity. He wrote famously, "Do not be ashamed to ask for assistance." As if a soldier has stormed a wall, you have a job to do. What he intended was that acknowledgeable? Disclose your limitations is courage, not weakness. It takes a huge amount of the ability to accept vulnerability innerly, more than just pretending to get every answer. Take a moment to think on your own life. Visualize a workplace situation or among friends. Where did you go wrong? Initially, you might want to hide it. Explain it alternatively. Blame someone else. For your own protection. However, imagine calmly instead, and actually stating, "I made a mistake. I mistook, and I'll see to it that never occurs again." Then what occurs? You get respect in reality. Individuals appreciate those who are safe, suitable for honest owning up. They spot someone who is sure enough to be a human, who is not hidden by false bravado or defensiveness. Epictetus details that actual power is in accepting your identity as is all imperfections, that weakness was taught by him. Isn't it a danger to your worth? In fact, it improves your integrity and authenticity. When your vulnerability is open, you're making a clear signal to yourself and others that honesty is more important to you than your ego. You're displaying that you are fairly safe in yourself to accept defects in uncertainty or even fear. Keeping your abilities intact of internat power. Speaking realistically, here's a simple, powerful yet exercise. You may give it a try right now. When you discover who you are, a case in which you feel uncertainly worried or you have expressly made a mistake rather than concealing it publicly, quietly and confidently accept it. Describe what is actually happening. For instance, you may say, "To be honest, I'm not sure. Of the currently best solution, I would value your opinion." Or "I'm a little nervous concerning this presentation. However, I will try my best." Observe how immediately relatable. Moreover, wonderful this easy action is for others. Initially accepting vulnerability in this way, possibly uncomfortable, you may be concerned about lose respect or appearing weak, but the powerful paradox is here. Genuine vulnerability, in fact, improves respect, trust, and linkage. People are pulled to sincerity by nature. They sense power. You have the authority to be real. You grow in person. They feel safe in the area. A responsible partner. Since you're not lying inside a facade, do not forget, it's not something you expect respect. You are what you become if you're ready. Now to grow in understanding and access your inner power to the fullest, select the video. On your screen at this moment, I really value your involvement. Of the Stoic Journal. I'll see you soon.